Hey guys, JW here tonight. So what I'm about to prepare is we're gonna take our new cleaver that we just kind of reviewed earlier on, our Dalstrong cleaver. We're gonna see how this one chops up and everything here. Just looking that blade over the sheath if you're just tuning in. Okay, has a nice clasp that can get out of the way. So this blade is very nice and sharp. We're going to do some prep work with it tonight. We're going to take a look at what it can do with some of our vegetables, and we are going to even try it on some meat. So I got a chuck roast for my soup that I'm going to prepare tonight. Let's go over a few things. No paid advertisements here. I just video it raw, just as if you were at home or standing here with me and we were making it together. This is the beef broth that I'm going to be using tonight. We have our carrots. We have our zucchini. I have a little bit of green onion, and I also have some onion. I used half of it the other day. This one, I'm going to actually use some celery. We'll probably start off with that first. I'm going to add some garlic, and then I also have some nice little red potatoes here to just kind of rinse off and go into. And just want to show you my chuck roast here. It is nice and marbled well. That's one thing when you're picking out your meat, depending on what you're cooking and what you're wanting it to do. We'll take a closer look at that once we get it out of the package. Okay, let's raise this up a little bit. I changed it over to the 120 view for everybody to where you can see everything in a little bit better picture. All right, so first off, this big thick stalk down here at the bottom. Let's see how it's going to cut for us. It went through it nice and easy. Had to put a little bit more pressure than anticipated with this one, but it is a nice thick. Look at that. Now we have a flower. Look at that. Just made a celery flower there. Okay, so we're going to pick out probably a couple stalks of these. The rest I'm going to set over here to the side. Let's go ahead and grab a couple of carrots here. Okay, just going to set my blade here. Just going to grab an extra carrot. I really do like carrots in with what I'm cooking. Two big carrots there. There's our zucchini. See that dry off there. We're going to go ahead and clean up our onion. So with this one here, you always want to make sure, when creating your foods, make sure you wash them, especially when you get home from the produce, just to make sure everything is going to be nice and clean. You don't want any, on the off chance that there was pesticides. We don't want that in our food at all. Just going to go ahead and rinse the celery down just a little bit. I don't want to have too much left over, so I'm just going to go ahead and rinse this one off here as well. Okay. So, up first, and then I also have my McCormick that says beef stew, but I'm going to try and use it just the seasoning to this time to see how how it works out for making some soup. So first off, I'm just gonna, it has a nice crunch to it. Okay, kind of toss that to the side there. It sliced everything up nicely. You can see nice straight lines. I'm just going to cut it off, the top half off there, just because it was a little dried out when I saw it. We've already made that cut at the bottom. Let's see here. We're going to get it right about middle of the blade here. Maybe if I can turn it this way for you this time. We'll just see that chopping action together. Nice and clean cuts there. Well, that one didn't cut very well. I didn't take it all the way to the bottom when I did that cut. Again, we're going to just cut that end piece off. And you see there, I got some that were pretty thin. So it's just how you want them in your soup is how you're going to want to cut it. Where you want some thick ones, maybe you want some real thin ones. This knife seems to be cutting and getting everything the way I want it. I have a separate cutting board over here that I am actually going to slide in here real quick. That big blade is great for raking everything on over and picking up and moving over to your dish or your soup, your skillet, whatever you may be doing it, cutting up with. This one's a little too big for me. I wanted to chop that up there. Okay, let's move on to our carrot. So we're just going to cut that end off. Throw that to the side there. And here we go. Do you like your carrots thick, thin? We can really just decide how you want to do it. When you're cooking, as you can see, this one's doing well to keep those carrots nice and thin. Now, the thinner the carrot, the easier it is for you to probably cook it. Less time. Getting to the heart of this carrot now. Now, if for anyone that likes them a little thicker, you can do so. It just may take a little longer to cook them. Let's bring it back here to the back of. Oh, it wanted to roll on me. So we don't want that. There we go. Set that top piece over here. Because ultimately we want to have everything kind of boil down into our soup. Okay. Now for this soup, it said 3 cups to bring to a boil. I'm actually probably going to make a little bit more than what it's asking for, but let's go ahead. I'm just doing the boring part here. There's our 2 cups. Four cups. And we'll add 1 more cup to make it 5. Just because I don't want the vegetables to burn or set on the bottom and dry out. We'll turn this on high. Open the whiffle up on our food over here. And let's move on to our next one. Get rid of that, and it's about getting the blade high enough and bringing it back down is what I'm starting to see. If anyone's got any good videos for proper techniques and things, I'd be happy to watch. Nice round cut carrots, some thick, some thin. Oh, I'm just going to go ahead, cut this one off here. Now you can do like that as well. It does make things a lot louder than needs to be. Let's see if we can't just one pull. This knife seems to be cutting very well. The only thing that I can do real quick while I'm thinking about it is I don't have another cleaver, so if anyone has a good recommendation for that, the next to best thing would be my Santoku, my Shun. Let's see how this cuts. Make sure I have it here. Oh yeah, this Shun knife. Whoop whoop. Don't get too carried away. Keep your fingers. Oh man, that's kind of sad. All right, zucchini. We know the Santoku. Look at that. Just cut it, picked it up. Just one stroke. Uh-oh. Is this the end for Dalstrong? I'm making some slices here. Thin, thick, however we want them. Wow, that cut through there really quick. That cut through that really quick. Let me gently dab my spare mic over here. Alright, so we saw how that stacked up there. Just going to go straight down the middle of the whole stack. Look at that. One straight line. Look, they're still all stuck together. Nice, flat, and together there. For our soup purposes, I'm just going to kind of dice those up. Our water is getting hot. I hear it boiling now. All right, I'm going to turn it back over to Dalstrong and the cleaver. Now, I think some cleavers are made more. Let's see. Okay. Okay. You do have to give it a little. It is a different handle, different grip. It feels like it drags a little more than the Santoku. Maybe it's the way that everything is. It's doing a good job, but I can feel in my hand that is not cutting the same. And that means our water is good and hot. We're going to take our lid off to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get some of these veggies already going. Now the veggies that I'm putting in there are ones that you want to take some time with them and let them go ahead and get cooking, because they take longer typically to cook. Just stir that around there. It is a little harder to control. Once you get used to it, I bet it's going to be just fine. For this one, I'm just going to make a few extra chunky pieces for this soup. Just because the thinner ones that we just made will probably shrink down or cook down, and then we won't have that hearty soup that we're looking for at the end of the day. Now it doesn't have to all be super pretty or perfect. You can cut it up however you wish. 4s, 3rds. If you had time and just wanted to really make it something special, you could do a lot of thin sliced pieces. What I do like about this one though is the rocking. I can rock fairly easy with this one. I mean, when it gets to chopping, it chops very nicely though. I'm just gonna save this little bit there. When you do get to chopping, it does. The weight really takes over there. Let's add the rest of this to it. Okay. Up next, we're gonna clean up our onion. Ooh, I like the way it went through this onion. Like just the feel. It went through there very nicely. Very nice, very nice. We're gonna take and see a stroke from here. Nice and smooth, straight edge cut. We're gonna go here, go all the way down. Went through nicely there. Go ahead and add in some of our onions while we're making it. Now for this purpose, my onions will cook down. So I do want these to not just be a whole mouthful of onion when it is cooking. So definitely want to chop some of it up. Again, it will all Alright, there you go. Okay. Move it on over to our cutting board. Just gotta be careful and respect your blade the best that you can while cooking. I know they do take a beating while cooking, but always respect your utensils so they can take care of you in the future. So far, I think the design of this blade is working well, as it should. I'm going to add in the rest of these onions. There we are. Okay. Now for me, I have these green onions. I am going to go ahead and chop those ends off. As far as chopping goes, this thing is a chopper 100%. It does a great job on just chopping. So like those big chunks of meat and those big vegetables and stuff there. This is all going to cook down, and that's what I want it to do. I don't want it to be a big chunk of green onion that we have to chew on. Look at that. Got most of it up on the blade already. Just do a quick rinse off of my blade, just because I'm not sure how it's going to work right away. I mean, look, just a nice rinse off, cleaned up nicely. Okay. Up next, it went through that bag nice and smooth. So with this, I'm just going to dump in some potatoes and let them get to cooking everything down. I think I'm going to go ahead and add one more cup because I think some of it is I have a big, I think it's a big 5-quart pot here. I am going to introduce back to our tasting spoon. So this is a spoon that I'm going to use to kind of whisk it around, stir some of those vegetables that were in the bottom to the top. So let everything get down and in there nicely, just like that. Set our spoon here. Okay. So with this, I was just taking a quick second here to look at my recipe here and what it's calling for. I'm going to go ahead and add some beef broth to it. Okay. Now I've got my burners on high. I'm just going to add one whole thing of the beef broth to this mixture. Just mixing it around, filling it up nicely here. Alright, so we used one whole. Now this is a 4-cup, 32 ounces broth that we used. And just going to take our spoon, gently whisk everything up and around, get those spices and everything cooking well together here. Get it stirred up. Let's see how it tastes with our tasting spoon here. It's tasting really good right now. Oh wow. The next question is JW going to be able to break himself away from the vegetable soup that he has now? Will we ever add meat? That is good. All right. Now that I've wet my whistle, um, for this one, I think I'm going to hold on to my garlic clove. I love the way that everything is coming together in the pot now. So what we will move on to is our meat. Oh, look at that nice cut into the meat. One pull right through plastic and meat. I like it. Give me a sharp knife any day. So just wanted to show you that marbling in there. That's what you really want. This was the back side that we couldn't see, but even then, for what we're using this for, I think it's going to turn out nicely. I just love it when the fat is in the meat like this, because it's going to be nice, juicy, and tender. Now, if you're not paying attention, you could get some meat that's a little more like this section here. Not a lot of fat in it, but when you can find it and it's marbled, it is beautiful. Just quick rinse off, make sure there's nothing bone or anything from when they cut it. Bring it on back. Now, always want to make sure that your hands are nice and dry, because you don't want to lose control over your knife. Let's see. Oh yeah. I'm going to try and turn this. Let's see how forwards and backwards. You cut it nice and thin there. Let's see if we can get a good chop. That was a decent chop. All right, let's see how we're going to do with it this time. I think that, looking at it, I think if I would have gave it a little bit more swing, it probably would have went straight through. I'm going to go ahead and turn it down to a simmer before everything overflows. There's that. Let's take a look at our Santoku knife. Oh wow, look at that. Just clean that up just a little bit. That Santoku really did a good job. This is the Santoku side, and this side was that there. I mean, both knives are doing a great job. Let's set some of our meat to the side here. And let's just take a look here. Like, it's a very fatty piece of meat that I have here, which is what we want to go into our soup. It's sticky because of the fat, but look at that marbling. Can you see that right there? Get that up to the camera. That marbling is just beautiful. Like, you can just feel it. It's nice and textured. You can see the fat resin on the blade. So this is a good piece of meat to test anything on, I would feel like, because you just want them in about a 1-inch cube. I mean, they're both cutting very well. So Dalstrong, I think this blade is cutting very well. The real thing is going to be how to maintain it to keep it this sharp. Now I know you can send it into them. They do show that they have them in stock. I haven't been able to find one in stock yet, but they do have some like the KAI ceramic sharpener that we got for the shun knives. They do have that available. Now I'm just going to go ahead and add some of that meat there in. I'm just excited about all my knives that I've gotten for this holiday from my wife and my mom. Alright guys, that's just about everything for tonight. Again, thank you so much for watching and sitting through this with me as we cut into this beautiful piece of meat. I will do a short to show you the soup and everything. Look at that beautiful fat piece. I will do a short to let you know how the soup turned out. Thanks guys for watching. As always, happy viewing. Thanks so much and have a good night.